Okay, so in this final step, the one thing I want to correct here is this area here. I don't really like the geometry, the way that there's all this stuff coming together. Now, it's going to be impossible to avoid completely, but I'm wondering if there's a way we can do this a little bit better. So, well, this will give a good chance to use symmetry as well. So when you're modeling an object like this, you don't always have to delete one half. Instead, up here, you can turn on symmetry. So we're dealing over the z-axis. So if I go to edge mode, you can see it's selecting both edges because I've changed it to object Z. Because we're working in the middle of the world, we could also go to world Z, and that would work too. But for now, we'll just do this. So let's say I'm going to go to my multicut tool, hold down Control, Shift, and just throw in an edge loop there. And I want to make a face, a flat face here. So let's think about the ways that we could do this. I can make a new triangle here and then a face here. So let me try that. I'm going to delete this face. I am going to bridge these two edges. And I meant to do just one division. Or 0 divisions. Yep, just want to plane, and we just want this to be linear. So now obviously we have a triangle here, but I think we're not going to be able to avoid a triangle here, because if we connected these, we would just end up with a line down the middle again, although maybe that's not such a bad idea. Let's try something. So if I hold down Control, here I want to turn off symmetry. Okay, and if so now if I want to fill this triangle in, probably the easiest way to do it, but I'll show you two ways. If we select an edge, and we saw this once before, go to Mesh, Fill Hole. Another useful tool is the Append to Polygon tool. So if you have to fill in a more complex shape, that fill hole doesn't work. Let me just hide the thing. If we go to Mesh Tools, Append to Polygon, and click on one of these open edges, it shows these purple arrows, so you have to draw our polygon in that direction. And now we have kind of a nicer piece of geometry. Everything is four-sided again. So it looks like a triangle, but it is four-sided. We have one of these vertices, which is not great, but it's not the end of the world either. So if I double click on here, you can see it can't go all the way around anymore because there is a vertex that has more than 4 vertices, edges coming into it. Let's see how this smooths. That's terrible. Okay. I don't like that at all. So I think I'm going to live with triangles because I think it'll work better, and I'll show you why. I'm going to delete this edge. So if I select an edge, let me just turn off the grid. It's a little confusing in here. If I select an edge and I just hit delete or backspace and go to vertex mode, you can see it leaves vertices behind, and then this, what looks like a quad, is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-sided. Instead, if you select an edge and hit Control Delete, it will delete both the vertex and the edge. And you can see that here under Edit Mesh, Delete Edge Vertex is Control and Delete. So I do have a triangle here now, but I think I might live with that because this smooths better to me. right? So sometimes it's impossible to avoid triangles in some areas. And in a case like this model, if we wanted this to be sharper on the inside, I could select this edge and throw in a bevel. Right, so you can see that, oh, I missed this edge going around, but you can see we can sharpen that up if we want to, and if I click away from it, it's a little easier to see. So this is a bit ugly in here. I'm going to undo that. Also include that one. Bevel around. Reduce the fraction. Add a segment. There, that's nice and clean. And then on the other side. Okay, so let's pretend that's the way it's supposed to look. We'll just leave it like that because that looks pretty nice. So finally, save. I'm going to delete the history on this model. I think I made this all a little bit too thin looking at this now, but that's okay. I'm not going to try and change it. So to add a new material to an object, you can just right click on it, go down to assign new material, and this assign new material box will come up, Arnold shader. The only one we're going to use on almost every occasion is the AI standard surface. It's just the workhorse shader that can be kind of made into anything. And let's call this retractor shader. And just for convenience, we will give it a brushed metal preset. Replace. And I'll just quickly add a ground plane to sit under it to catch shadows. This is just a polygon plane. And then to render it, we'll just go to light, add a sky dome light, maybe turn its intensity down something lower, and then also add an area light. And we'll just rotate this. The stick is the direction of the light. Hold down E for rotate, J to snap rotation to 15-degree increments. Turn up its exposure to whatever works. I'm going to try 9. Let's just render this thing out. Save. Here we go. So we don't have any complex scene or HDR lighting, so we can have nicer reflections in here or anything. But, well, it probably didn't seem that fast to you, but I was trying to explain things as I went along. But you can make a nice looking surgical tool that's clean, symmetrical, doesn't have any weird lumps or bumps along the way, because we're following good practice of using four-sided geometry as much as we can and controlling how our geometry flows. So give this a try, make this, and render it out. Oh, sorry, one other thing. If you want to save that render, it's probably best not to use the Arnold render view, but instead open up this one here, the one with the eyeball. This is the Maya renderer. And just click on this. And you can see it renders in a slightly different way, and it doesn't update like the other one does. We can go to File, Save Image, and save it as a TIFF or something. All right, thank you.